And we are live. Welcome to NBA Live Before Lock, NBA Finals Edition, Game 1. The Indiana Pacers, the Oklahoma City Thunder, what I'm expecting to be the beginning of the Oklahoma City dynasty. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. It's good to see everybody. It's good to be back. We got the finals here. Let's have some fun. If you're here, guys, hit that like button. It will help me out an absolute ton. Y'all ready? Let's get it out of the way right now. Who wins? Who wins? Who picks up the dub? I assume most of us think it's the Thunder. But my question after that question will be a little bit different. We got a lot left to talk about here. Whoops. Hope that didn't do anything. It might have. Accidentally turned off my AirPods and then turned them back on. Not ideal. Pacers winning this game tonight. Yeah, that would be incredibly surprising. All right. So most rational people think OKC wins today. Series picks. Get them in now. Let me know where you're landing. I want to know what you guys got. Should have done a poll. It's going to be 90-10. I'm more interested in the poll when it's a coin flip. 4-1, OKC in 5. 4-1, OKC in 5. Nobody joining me on Sweep Island? That just me? We did get an ownership update just before this started. We've got 28 minutes to go until lock, so let's dive into it. This is the ownership we have in front of us right now on the DraftKings side. Richie Hart says TJ McConnell night. Yeah, I couldn't agree less. SGA, the reigning MVP of the NBA, 12,200, currently projected for 88.8% ownership, 42 at the captain, and another 46. Starting lineup change. Here it is. Kind of expected it. Don't think they needed to do it, but SGA, Wallace, Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. So that is going to certainly make Cason Wallace look a little bit more interesting here now at 4,400, getting the start. It just gives him the opportunity to play more minutes. It probably doesn't move him a ton, if we're being honest. Like, we don't look at Cason Wallace now and think, oh, he's playing 34 minutes now that he's starting. But they did make the change. It makes sense on paper. I'm a little surprised they're doing it for game 1, but I applaud Mark Daigneault for just simply doing what he thinks is going to be the best possible option here. That said, I probably wouldn't have done it because I think they're going to be fine one way or the other. $6,400 Isaiah Hartenstein off the bench. Interesting, I guess, because no one's going to roster him now. So I'm very curious to see when we refresh where this ends up. But unequivocally, a mild boost to Cason Wallace and a slight negative to Isaiah Hartenstein, at least overall. Jake, it's going to be pretty hard to coach circles around Daigneault when you can't coach circles around talent. And unfortunately for Indy, they just don't have as much of it. They're great. They're great. But it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Excited to see what this change ends up being. Let's talk through what we have here, because I want to talk about what I was getting prior to the show starting. And the most important thing that I have to tell everybody right now is that I had a huge stand on J-Dub at the captain. Rance just said it at the same time that I'm saying it right now. 9,800 15.5% owned. The price tag is really appealing to me, and I like the matchup for him. So my expectation, at least based on where I was prior to this show starting, J-Dub was half of my captains. Oddly light on SGA at the captain, not oddly light on SGA overall. I did have quite a bit of Kenrich Williams as my value option. I am very light on Aaron Wiggins, who scares the hell out of me as the value option, but clearly looks like the best point per dollar play that you can find here. Series is going 7. Whew. I hope you're betting that, because you could probably get a decent line, and that is not a popular take. Yeah, Sotex, I would probably get Hartenstein out of that captain spot now. Josh, I think SGA was always going to see Neesmith. That's my assumption, at least. We'll see. But I think he was always going to see Neesmith first. Let's talk through a little bit more at the captain as we await an update for that little tweak. I guess technically the Pacers could change their lineup, but that would be very surprising. Does this make Toppin look better? It could not affect Obi Toppin any less. Let's block that user for spam. No, I can't do that. Oh, Nightbot got it. Shout out, Nightbot. Shout out, Nightbot. So let's wait out the ownership. Let's talk through what we had previously, though, because for the most part, this isn't going to change all that much. Pacers lineup: Halliburton, Nembhard, Neesmith, Siakam, and Turner. So I had a pretty big stand on J-Dub. I have a pretty big stand on Chet Holmgren as well at the captain. Those are my two primary captains. Jack Ward, I'd love, I'm not even going to acknowledge it. I couldn't care less. Those are my two primary captains. What I can say is that I have essentially nothing from a captain perspective on the Pacers end. Way under on Tyrese Halliburton. Way under on Pascal Siakam. I just simply hate this entire series for the Pacers, and it's showing up in my exposures. 25% of my lineups were 5-1 OKCs. 43% of my lineups were 4-2s. I only have 5% of my lineups that lean Pacers. So I am full stop, full barrel Oklahoma City. And for the record, I don't mind if I'm wrong. The Pacers are super fun. I want a great series, but I think we are going to learn, maybe not pretty quickly, but we are going to learn over this series that the Oklahoma City defense is the most legit thing we have in the NBA right now. Do I think Thomas Bryant gets more run tonight? I think the Pacers are going to have to throw a lot against the wall to find out what sticks. Game 1, all bets are off. Whether that's Bryant or Bradley, we don't know for sure. Doesn't feel like a great Thomas Bryant spot. Here's the one caveat to Thomas Bryant. It's OKC is willing to give up corner threes. And that's really like the only thing that can create a true Thomas Bryant outlier game. So if they fall, they fall. But I think we're going to start to see what happens when you have not good play. It's a lot easier to have not good players on the floor against the Knicks than it will be against Oklahoma City. Who can guard Toppin? Everybody. It's Obi Toppin. It's Obi Toppin. There's no you can't ask the question who can guard Obi Toppin and say nobody for someone that can't start. Like, if you're a bench player, everybody can guard you to some degree. There are very few and far between, and Obi Toppin is not that guy. 8:10, guys, 20 minutes to go until we get to lock. I will be on playback immediately after this. Full game. I'm going nowhere for the entire NBA Finals. Only way you're getting me off the stream is if it's a blowout, because at that point in time, I got nothing left to say. But playback.tv/Stokastic. We will be there watching the game. You guys can watch along with me. If you get a VIP pass, great. You could subscribe to our playback channel if you want. Also great. That can get you a discount code at Stokastic or OddsShopper. Also great. Ultimately, if you just want to come, hang out, have the chat open, watch elsewhere, you can do that too if you need to. Dan Riley can't decide between Caruso, Dort, and Wallace. It's not an easy decision point. I'll be honest with you. It's a tough spot. Brandon, enjoy it. Enjoy it. That's a second half thing for me. I want to be ready to watch this game today. There were a couple other interesting spots that I had in terms of stands. I saw Josh Gillum ask me before. I could hit on that now. My biggest fade is Aaron Wiggins. And that is not that I'm saying, like, I think Aaron Wiggins stinks or I don't want to play him. It is 100% an ownership decision here. I'm naturally trying to discount my ownership quite a bit, bring my duplication level down. And in order to do that, the most natural spot for me is Aaron Wiggins. And that's just making me get to Kenrich Williams, Thomas Bryant, some of the other pay downs. Aaron Wiggins is an incredibly efficient play today from a point per dollar perspective. The value is clear. The prop market supports it. That's just the way that I'm getting a little different from an ownership standpoint. The other big fades that I have, the biggest three were coming from the Indiana side. Pascal Siakam, half the field. Halliburton, half the field. Aaron Nesmith, less than half the field. It's a very minimal amount. The stands are on the OKC side if they're not value. Shea, Jalen, J-Dub, Chet. Now, I did talk about it on today's show. I talked about it a little bit on the first look show that we did on Tuesday. I do like Obi Toppin in this series, at least early, because the things that he does, at least OKC is going to afford him the opportunity to do it. He's going to get some looks from the corner, and you just kind of need them to fall. As the series goes on, I think it gets a little bit scarier for Obi Toppin, but right now I assume he's going to get those opportunities. It's the same sort of scenario for me for Benedict Mathurin and TJ McConnell. I don't want really any TJ McConnell, and I would like to get a little bit more Mathurin because I think this series is terrible for TJ McConnell. I don't really know what he's going to do here. And I think they might just need the size and the creation of Benedict Mathurin. So that's where I'm standing on most of these guys in terms of anybody that I think I could actually have an opinion on. This middle section, this like Nembhard, Nesmith, Hartenstein, Caruso, Dort, Wallace, I have no idea what's going on in that range for the most part. If you see this right now, we do have ownership updated now for the starting lineups. Cason Wallace is up to 33% on the DraftKings side. If we check it out on the FanDuel end, he is 35%. Hartenstein is 16 on FanDuel and just 9 on the DraftKings end. I find that number a little interesting. I think the rebounding for Hartenstein will be very, like, if OKC's defense is as good as we think it is, those misses are going to get gobbled up by OKC a lot more than they are by the Pacers, in particular Isaiah Hartenstein. But now that we have everything run, I think I'm going to let this rip and see what I end up with. I might need to run it twice just to see if I'm getting too much or too little of any particular value plays, but I'm going to run my sims right now. I want to get your questions though, guys. Is there anything you want me to touch on? And when I say questions, I don't mean 1v1s and 2v2s. If you have a 1v1 or a 2v2, head directly to stokastic.com. Find the player compare tool. You can do 1v1s and 2v2s. You don't have to have an account with us, at least a paid account. It's totally free. You'll see projections and ownership and optimal rates, things like that. That'll be what you're looking for. All right, let's see what we got. First sim. Very curious. Let's export these projections. That's one. Let's run this sim. I am going to make a couple manual manipulations, a little bit more so than I normally would, depending on where these exposures land. But I will go back in and give like an extra minute to Mathurin. I'm going to take a minute from McConnell if I have to. If the exposures work out the way that I need them to, then whatever. But I want to do that. I want to give an extra minute to Obi Toppin on the off chance that I'm not getting him. Otherwise, I think I'm not going to have to touch too much. Big Dog, that's an interesting question. Any Shepherd love? He's a total wild card to me. He's 6% owned. Could he be a guy that matters today? Of course. His minutes can be anywhere from like 8 to 24 today, and I wouldn't be surprised. It's just a guy where he's the type of guy I generally am not going to be stoked about having road bench guys. And Ben Shepherd is the epitome of like, I have no idea what that dude's going to do today. None at all. All right, lineups are done. Lineups are exported. 13 minutes to go until we have lock. Let's delete my current lineups and find out what I have right now and find out what we need to tweak. I'm trying to pay attention to chat. Super chat. Do I really have a super chat? Where are they? They're supposed to be like pinned to my channel, but they're not. I tried a different chat app on the back end and not working the way that I wanted to. But you guys don't care about that either. Let me hit that super chat whenever I could actually find it. I'm getting there, old rat, I promise. I won't miss it. I won't miss it. Actually, now that I remember, I saw it pass by and I just figured it would dock at the top. Actually, can I hit that drop down? Fan funding. Got it. What's the most salary you left on the table tonight? All right, all right, let me check that out. My assumption is nothing too crazy. All right, let's see. Most salary left on the table is 1,100. 48.9 is what I have in there right now as my low number. Which, cool, fine by me. All right. Still a big fade of Wiggins, still a big fade of Halliburton. Light on Toppin. Still getting Thomas Bryant. Let's see. I need to give Toppin a minute. Give Kenrich a minute. Take a minute from TJ McConnell. Do I think it helps Miles Turner that Hartenstein doesn't start? I don't think it matters all that much. Darren Unger, favorite plays on FanDuel. I'll hit that in a second, Darren. I'm just going to hit Christopher's super chat first because it's easier. No Isaiah Joe love. He add Isaiah Joe to the list of guys like Ben Shepherd. I like Isaiah Joe more than Shepherd because, you know, hot crowd, shooter. You could see the way that he could play his way into a couple extra minutes. I don't think he's going to be like, I think this series fits him a little bit more than the previous series. I'm neutral to the field right now, but I have no qualms going to someone like Isaiah Joe. All right, let me hit these projections quickly. We're going to give We're going to pull a minute from TJ, give a minute to Obi Toppin, give a minute to Benedict Mathurin, give a minute to Kenrich Williams. I think that's everything I need to touch here. Can I give one to Joe? I'll give one to Joe as well. Let's see what that ends up looking like. That should be good enough tweaks here. All right, let me hit on the favorite plays on FanDuel for Darren Unger. I'm going to bounce back over to the ownership page. Runstack says, let's go Chet double-double. Don't think he's going to be a huge rebounder here, given the defensive setup. Kind of scares me. Hopefully he gets there with blocks. Okay, on the FanDuel end, at least at the MVP spot, I think Chet is a natural pivot option here. $3,000 cheaper than J-Dub. That's a very interesting price that's only supported by 10% ownership. I find Chet in the MVP to be a very interesting option. If we're talking about like flex plays, I think Toppin's probably a little underrepresented at 2,200. He's a guy that I'm interested in. Wiggins, a very different play on FanDuel. I could take it or leave it there. I think Mathurin is good for some sneaky value if you want it. But those would be the three main takeaways that I see on FanDuel. Chet at MVP, I think, is a little underrepresented. And I think Mathurin and Toppin are my preferred value options. All right, let me grab these updated lineups with my little tweaks and see what I actually have. And let's get these bad boys submitted because we are 8 minutes away from lock and watching the first game of the NBA Finals. And I, for one, am incredibly pumped to watch this basketball. All right, let's see. Where did these exposures end up? Do I have more of what I wanted? Yes, 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 and yes. Decent enough stand on Kenrich, way under on TJ McConnell, 2xing Isaiah Joe, 2xing Benedict Mathurin. What else am I missing? Neutral to Obi Toppin. I'm just going to have to live with that right now. Shea and everything I'm doing. I love it. I love it. I am very, very happy with my exposures. They fit the way that I think this game goes. The only concern is if Aaron Wiggins really is just ends up being a good chalk play, that will kill me. If Aaron Wiggins is the value guy you need today, I will not have money. Otherwise, I'm happy to run this forward. All right, lineups are going in. Saved, uploaded, confirmed. All right, everything's in. Chat, you are all mine for the next 7 minutes. Let's do it. What have you got? Shout out starting lineups. Same Pacers lineup, always. Case and Wallace starting over Hartenstein. Did I get any Hartenstein? That's a good question. I am over the... I have 22% of Isaiah Hartenstein. I don't have a single... I only have one lineup. No, sorry. I have 5% of my lineups that are 4-2 Indy. Everything else is either 3-3s, 4-2 OKCs, or 5-1 OKCs. What are the most minutes Wiggins can play in this spot? 26? Something like that. Something in that neighborhood. Wallace or Dort, FanDuel single lineup. I probably shouldn't have even answered, but I will. Hard to not say Wallace at that point. Nightbot letting you know 7-day free trial Portfolio EV. You can get that, or if you head to Playback later tonight, I got a promo code for 75% off that I'll let you guys know once we go to Playback. As many as 26. He can also play 0. That's the problem here. Favorite captain for a GPP, very easy for me. That's going to be Jalen Williams. He is my most exposed captain, with Chet being a close second. But most of my captain exposure is going to J-Dub and Chet. And while I don't have as much of SGA, he's in everything I'm doing. Wiggins, Joe, or Kenrich kind of feels like the key. I agree. And the real problem in that statement is that you can conceivably add Jalen Williams with a Y to that. Wallace captain, not really my cup of tea in the postseason, but I mean, I have him, if that helps. I think we are... What channel is this on today? I legitimately have no idea what channel the finals is on. ESPN. Okay, so this game is not going to start for 15 minutes after this show, but in 20 minutes from right now, I think we're about to just watch the Oklahoma City Thunder conduct an orchestra of defense. How much salary am I leaving on the table? I guess I could follow up Olrat's question from earlier. And get that actual breakdown once again. So let me check and see what I'm truly leaving on the table. All right. Of my selected lineups, the most money I'm leaving on the table today is... Ooh, it's a lot less now, Olrat. That was $700. 49.3 is my low mark, which I'm not surprised by based on my captain exposures. Which percentage of my lineups have neither Siakam or Halliburton? Probably a few, if I had to guess. I would guess I have that scenario. There's Siakam. There's Halliburton. Actually, I only have one lineup that has them both. I don't have a single lineup that doesn't have either. No, that's not true. Half of my lineups don't have either. I looked at that sort wrong. Half of my lineups don't have either one of Halliburton or Siakam. And I'm completely fine with that because I think that they aren't even in the same stratosphere as Oklahoma City. So I'm very happy with this. Thoughts about Dort over Caruso? I have no lean for stuff like that. Those guys are just basically the same guy in my head. I'm loving this though. I'm feeling good. We have a minute to go before we get to lock. So if you guys have not placed your lineups in these contests, you better do it right now because we are going to play back in the next minute. We've been there the whole time, sharing OddsShopper, allowing you guys to grab the best bets possible that are available to you right now at all of the sports books we track. But now we're here. 8:29. We are 50 seconds away from the lock for game one of the NBA Finals. I certainly did not expect it to be Oklahoma City and the Indiana Pacers, but I'm happy to see it. These two teams play at a breakneck pace. This could be an exciting finals if it stays competitive. I just don't think it does. Thunder sweep. That is my official prediction for this series. I think they cut through them like a hot knife through butter. And we are watching the first of more than one NBA title for the Oklahoma City Thunder in the near future. Guys, thank you so much for being here for game one. We're heading to playback right now. playback.tv/Stokastic. We got a game to watch, everybody, and we are locked. Click the links in the description if you want to sign up at Stokastic or OddsShopper. We got plenty of deals for you. But now it's time to watch some basketball. Good luck, everybody.